What's going on, guys? Raven Maniac here, and for my last two videos of the Madden 12 season, I thought I'd do something a little bit different, something that's going to carry over to whatever Madden year you're playing, whether it be 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 even, if we even get to see that. And that's how to create a scheme on both offense and defense. Now this video is going to be focused on offense, and if you guys think that you already know how to develop your own scheme and stuff like that, just pass over this video, but there are plenty of you out there that are pretty much just searching, forums and stuff like that, looking for your schemes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I created a scheme that I put up a little bit ago on weak tight twins, and just go over how I came up with that. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, I'm just going to pick a random play here on defense. Let's go with this. Is you're going to want to find your base play. Now for me, a base play is going to be different from whether I'm in single back or like under center or shotgun. Shotgun, you're pretty much just looking for a good pass play and putting a series of good pass plays together to create a scheme. But from under center, you really want to be able to run the ball to both sides, as well as pass, both short and deep, as well as some man switches and stuff like that. So for me, what I first did was I came out in any play and just looked at what my audibles were, because you don't want your base play to be what one of your audibles are. See, that's like a slant play. This is a mesh. And then the run play is a halfback dive, and the PA pass is the PA waggle. So I know that I'm not going to pick any of those plays as my base play. So from there I'm going to look for a run play that can attack the right side, because that halfback dive is to the left. And the only play that you actually see is either a draw, which is still an up the middle run, or this counter. So we're going to come out in the counter, and we're just going to see what that beats. Now, I already know what it beats, so I'm just going to skip ahead and say we find out that it beats man. Why does it beat man? Well, there's no one over on this far right side to stop this run. That corner is pulled over here, so we can just call hike here and then pretty much just run into an open field, and that probably would have been a touchdown, or maybe to stop at the 5-yard line or something. So now what happens if we call it against zone? So we're pretty much doing the opposite of what we think that it's going to beat. So now we just run it as is and see what happens. Now we get some decent blocks, but we end up getting tackled for a loss right there. So now how can you make this play better so that it will defeat zone? Well, basically you're going to look to motion another guy over from this left side to block this extra defender now on the right side. So you see who you can motion. You can motion Leach out, but that's not really getting an extra blocker. You're just moving him around everywhere. So the only person you can really motion and snap before he gets set is Torrey Smith. So we'll go ahead and motion him over, and you see now we have that extra blocker on that outside, except linebacker kind of blocks it there. But now you have that extra blocker on the outside. So now you're going to figure out what does your other formation run auto will beat. Now if you run it as is right now, you'll notice one thing. You're running it into a pile of defenders. Not only is that extra cornerback on this left side, but you're just, there's 7 guys in the box, 9 or 8 if you count that safety and corner. So let's just run it as is right now, and you'll see there's really nowhere to go. So you know that against man coverage, you really don't want to call that halfback dive right there. So then you switch it to zone coverage. Now what happens? Let's go hike, and you see you kind of run into the same problem there. You're pretty much just running into a wall. So now how can you make this play better? The same way as the other one, you're going to motion a guy into the gap, and it's not Vontae Leach. You're going to motion Torrey Smith over again. And this time we'll just see what happens. Now we have an extra blocker in that area, and you see we pick up some decent yards. Torrey Smith is just demolishing Ryan Clark right there. I love to see that. So now that you have your 2 run plays down, where you can run it both to the left and then to the right, now you're going to want some pass plays. Now you're just going to go through your quick passes. Now what does this look like it'll beat? In my opinion, it doesn't look like it's going to beat much of anything. But I'll tell you right now, if someone's heavy blitzing, I don't know what the blitz is from this. Okay, so it's like a man blitz. Say this person was over here. Now you know that because they're heavily blitzing here, there's no one over the middle to stop this. So if you were to call a play like this, and say your quick passes look something like this, you can just call hike, and then I almost picked off my own pass there. You guys just heard Skype, by the way. I'm going to sign off Skype real quick, so this doesn't end up like the last video that I posted. Alright, so we're good. So now you see that the middle of the field is pretty much open on this play, but you didn't get many yards. So this isn't a play that you're really going to want to use. Now if you were to say like motion, or hot route some guys to like curls and stuff like that, then you'd have a pretty good man beater. See, these crossing slants will pretty much just demolish man coverage. But that's something that you can do, but that's not something you're going to be able to do consistently, because the defense can just adjust to that by putting these guys in purples, and now your crossing slant play is done for. So you're going to need more than that. So from there, you're going to want to find maybe like a man switch or maybe a motion hike. I don't know if I can actually motion hike this. I haven't ran this scheme in a really long time. So let's see what happens if we motion pass. See, nothing happens. Nothing good happens there. So that you really don't have a motion pass. Although maybe this might work. Let's just try this. This is a disadvantage of doing things live. I think I just threw it at my running back. Alright, so now we know this receiver's square. So now let's see what happens if we motion this out. Nothing spectacular happens there either. So you know that you don't have a motion pass now from this formation. So you're going to want to find a man switch. Now the simple way to find a man switch is to do what I do. And I honestly just go to Google, type in weak tight twins man switch, and the first thing that came up for me was this PA Waggle play. I don't know who posted it, but whoever did, credit goes to you. It might have been like Madden Swagger or something like that, but it came out a really long time ago. And basically, you just follow their guide. So you just said to block the running back and slant out the tight end, and you'll see that the outside linebacker that was supposed to be on Ed Dickson here just ran towards the fullback. So that's a good man switch. That's something that you're going to put into your scheme. So now you have two ways to beat man coverage. The last thing that you need to do is figure out how to beat zone coverage. So let's call a zone. Now looking through your formation audibles, because these are what you're really going to want to use so you can just come out in that base play every single time, you'll notice that the deep pass for at least this formation has a deep corner route. Now deep corner routes in this game are just complete zone killers. So if you just streak Torrey Smith here, you've got an automatic zone killer. That was a little too close for comfort there. But normally it's not even that close. Let's go ahead and run that one more time. Now there are other ways to beat zone coverage, like you could slant out Bolden or something like that. You could put these two guys in a streak just in case it was cover 2. And again, you can tell how bad my controller is because Troy Polamalu is just running away. So we'll just reset this play real quick and get everyone back. So say you ran something like this, and then called like a cover 2. Now the middle of the field is kind of exposed right now, so you can just hit Torrey Smith right over the middle. In real life he'd probably drop that, but this is Madden. So from there you're just going to want to find different ways to beat different zone coverages. If someone were to play coverage D on you, what would you do? I'll just set up a coverage D, spy everyone, hook zone, spy, hook zone. So basically they're just rushing 2. So now what would you do? Well, they're in zone coverage, so you come out in your zone beater, and you just look at your play. Who do you think is going to be open? Obviously, the deep corner is going to still beat zone coverage no matter what. And then from here, you're going to want to take it to either like an unranked game, or if you don't care about your head-to-head game win-loss ratio, take it into something like that and just practice it. Even if you take someone else's scheme that they post on a forum, you always want to go to practice mode with it, because you never just want to go into a game cold. You never just want to go and be reading the adjustments and stuff like that off a computer screen and running it at the same time. Because not only are you not going to have enough time to get the play off, especially on defense, but you're just going to be clueless as to what you're really doing. You won't have the reads down, you won't have the progressions and stuff like that. You won't be ready to win that game. Anyways, I hope this helped you guys out. I'm kind of losing my breath here because I'm not taking any breathers. But this is something that can be used no matter what Madden you're playing, whether it's a previous Madden or a current Madden or one that's going to be coming out in the very near future. But hope you guys enjoyed that. The next video is going to be how to set or create a scheme rather on defense. And for that I showed my 46 normal scheme, whether it's like run D. I think I do outside heat for sending a lot of guys. And I just go over how I developed that scheme, and a lot of that actually came from community forum posts and stuff like that. So that'll be a good way to show you guys how to implement someone else's scheme into your own. Until then though, I'm out.